Hello, hello. Welcome back to the show. Nicole Holland here, as you know, and I have a familiar name, a familiar face, and one of my favorite people back again, this time on the Nicole Holland Show. She's been on the Business Building Rockstar Show. She was appeared twice on the Business Building Rockstar Summit. She is just amazing, and I'm super thrilled to have her with us today. Gina Gabellini is a master business coach, law of attraction expert, and chief rabble rouser of Masterpiece Coaching. After 20 years of liberating business owners from the curse of not enough and the myth of hard work pays off, Gina knows without question that you can make a massive amounts of money and impact millions, even if you've been struggling for years, if you're willing to flip the switch in your thinking, the old school rules in the toilet, and stay true to what lights you up and turns you on, which is kind of a little bit about what we were kind of talking about before hitting record, hey?
Exactly, eh?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here again. And it's always so much fun, Gina. And yeah, hi.
Yeah, I'm excited. I always know it's going to be a good time if we get to talk.
Yay. Sweet. So today we're going to be talking about five-star client attraction. And this is your jam. And we're going to be helping our audience to understand how they can do what.
Attract their very best clients. When we say 5 star, it doesn't necessarily mean high paying. It's like whatever price point you're at. It's just the best of the best for you. Because I consider 5 star clients are the ultimate. The people you would want to have over to your house for dinner, the kind that they're in love with you, you're in love with them. Like everything, every interaction, every exchange is perfect from beginning to end. And it brings out the best in you. It brings out the best in your company. You want to up level, you want to give to them because they're like pre-wired to want what you have, and it's just that perfect match. And I just think that most of the time we're settling for anybody who will give us the cash or their credit card, right? And so yeah, it's those people. And having to be easy. 5 stars, you don't have to talk into buying from you. They might need more information, but there's no convincing, there's no twisting their arm. They kind of show up ready, and then they're just checking it out to confirm that yes, I'm making the right choice.
Awesome. And I personally, you supported me so much when I quit my job as a correctional officer and I just got started, and then over the years, and I was always like, it's funny, I think I've told you this before. Sometimes I would get into a pickle and I'd be like, what would Gina say? And I have to tell you, I still listen to some of the old recordings that I have that you did like years and years and years ago. Um, when I'm like just feeling funky, I'm like, oh, let me go back into the program and find she did these like meditations or guided imagery or whatever, and that's what I need right now. So you've been doing this for so long, and something that I've really noticed for myself is over the years, even as I'm like, oh yeah, I've got it. Oh, my five-star client. Yes, this is amazing. They change. They
Yes.
change. So how does that happen? Like, and I'm wondering too, from your own experience, your five-star clients today, are they the same as your five-star clients 5 years ago or 10 years ago? And how is that? So I think sometimes what I hear from entrepreneurs is like, once I get everything I want, I feel like I don't want it anymore, and they want something new. So can you talk a little bit about that as we open this up?
Yeah. Well, I've been in business for, I think this is my 22nd year coaching, specifically in my own business. And definitely the clients have changed just because, I am your typical entrepreneur. I serve the whole entire world. I can coach anybody. And oh, I'm niching down. I'm going to teach about the law of attraction. On what topic? Everything. You can have whatever you want in life. And then I finally decided, no, I just want to focus on business owners and corporate leaders. And then I'm like, okay, we got to ditch the corporate leaders. Not that I don't love them. I absolutely do. It's too hard to focus on two totally different people. But what I noticed is, I think that we, in general, it's kind of like our personality style, is that the general type of person, our personality style, the same elements are always there. It's just that we keep tweaking and really rediscovering, like, oh, wait a minute, I really like that. Or I noticed that I do have different clients that I serve. I have people who are farther along in their business. I'm a business coach, right? And then I have beginners. But in the right context, they both are amazing to work with. Like I just was teaching a class for the last 30 days, and it was called 10K in 10 days. And it was a ton of money mindset, which is super fun for me. And I was telling somebody on my team, I said, I really love beginners. And not that they were all beginners, but they were all kind of low earners, not earning what they wanted to. And I'm like, I like these people. And in the right context, it makes sense. Where it might irritate me if I was trying to teach them something else. I'd get frustrated, like, we're spending so much time pumping them up and getting their confidence that we can't actually go implement, like I love to launch. So let's go teach launch strategies. It's in the right context. Your right client will show up perfectly. But if they're in the wrong offer or they bought the wrong thing, they could become a nightmare to you. But I think that we're always refining, like, well, what turns me on? What else do I want to include? Like I tell my people in my classes, I love gifts. So just so you know, 5-star clients send gifts and thank you notes. I like things that come in snail mail. And so they send stuff over. But I think, that we're evolving, but the same elements are always there. We're just fine tuning.
I love it. And yeah, that's like, so is that your love language then? Gifts?
Gifts and doing things for me. Yeah, definitely. That is my love language.
I'm a words of affirmation gal. So sometimes I feel
Oh,
like, because I know like gifts are so important and I really love sending gifts, but sometimes that kind of falls by the wayside and I'll be like, ooh, I really should do this. And then I don't. And I'm like, I'm starting to learn like, okay, but that's my natural rhythm. And I have to be aware of other people's natural rhythms. So it's always good when people say things like that. And yeah, one of the things that I learned from you right from the beginning was that you have to bring in your own who you are, and the more of who you are you bring in, the more easy it can be and fun. And if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. And after years in doing jobs that were making me just miserable, and I stayed in them and I forgot who I was, and I forgot, oh wait, I am a happy person, oh wait, I do like having fun. It was really very fresh to hear, opposed to a lot of people talking about you got to hustle, you got to work hard, you got to get it done. And when you talk about you've got to have fun, it's not saying that it's not hard work, but it's work that lights you up, right?
yeah. Like I have a guy who does my Facebook ads for me, and he said, Gina, no offense, but it looks like you've been dead on YouTube for about 7 years. And when you do these big launches and you're doing videos for your launches, people are looking for you in other places. And then he didn't say this, but this is what he meant. It's kind of embarrassing when they go to your YouTube and see yours aren't professionally done and you haven't done any. It looks like you haven't been doing your business. So I said, okay. And I didn't want it. I'm like, oh my gosh, just one more thing to do in a video shoot is shoot, a video a week. So we did 12 videos in an afternoon. And I thought, I do better if I write a script. Otherwise, I will start chatting. And next thing you know, it's going to be a 20-minute YouTube video talking about 10 different topics. And I don't know how valuable it is. It might be entertaining and inspiring. I don't know if they will actually get anything out of it. So I said, I got to write these scripts. And I thought to myself, this does not sound fun. It sounds like more work on my plate. And yet I actually want the end result. I want to do the videos. It's been something I've been thinking about for a while and I never make time for. So I thought, how can it make it easy? I'm like, wait a minute. I've been in business for 22 years. Do you know how many things and content I've written down? Let me just take those and tweak those. And then all of a sudden I got into it. And I'm like, man, I could do this. I could do this for days. This is fun. And then we did some green screen videos with costumes. Of course, they're going to look ridiculously silly. But I know my people, I'm talking about serious topics, a lot about money and not having enough money, things that people get really stressed over. It's like, well, how can I light it up? We put on some biker costume. We did a Greek goddess costume. We've done Superwoman, or what is her name is, Wonder Woman. And it's like, okay, well, that makes it fun for me. And if it's fun for me, I'll be more at ease. I'll do my best work. I'll find more of my inspiration of what would make a difference for them. And it all came together. It was very easy, but not until I asked. Sometimes it's not, how can I make this fun? The first question we need to ask is, how can I make this easier? Especially if you want the end result. Like, I don't think that everybody should go do videos. Some people hate videos. I used to hate videos, but I said, okay, I know they're impactful. My clients actually tell me they like me on video. What do I hate about this? And I said, I'm scared I'm going to go off topic, which I'm so famous for doing. And I'm self-conscious about not looking polished and professional, because that is not my gig. I'm very informal. I talk like an 80s California girl, which I am. I grew up I graduated in the 80s. And what if I just accentuate that, let that be there, and I will use a teleprompter. I was resistant to that. And I thought, well, wait a minute. I script out my webinars. And I feel natural doing that. Why do I feel natural doing that? Because I write them exactly how I taught. Well, why don't I just do my videos that way? So sometimes I think the fun is in figuring out the easiest way for you to do it. And then you can innovate and be creative and find your own jam, in the middle of it.
So good. Awesome. So let's talk about the 5-star client attraction process. So first of all, who is this for? Who's going to get the most value out of utilizing this process?
Anybody that sells anything.
Okay.
If you're selling anything or you're offering anything, even if you're the one that's not selling it yourself, maybe you market online or your team, you have to know who your 5-star client is. Like the very best of the best. Otherwise, you won't know the right words to say or the messaging or how to get up in their heads, even energetically, before you even get your thing out there into the world. So yeah, if you have something to offer or you have a company and you haven't done the process, even if I know for me, even talking to people who are already making 7 figures, there is refinement like we talked about before. And often when we think about who our client or our perfect patient or our customer is, we're going based off past, and those past people may not be our ideal. They're kind of who showed up. And then you think, well, what is the problem I want to solve for them? And you're looking at the people who were never ideal in the first place, and you're creating whole marketing campaigns and messages the way you talk. You're creating the wrong offers, for goodness sakes, right? It's like, wait a minute, I'm creating an offer based on a past client, not who I really want to serve. What the heck am I doing here? So everybody needs to do it, and I think we need to revisit it often. I offer several things. So anytime I'm going to create something new, I start from scratch, pretending like I'd never done this process before, because new things come up. Next year, I'm going to launch a software platform that's all strictly money mindset, no strategy, which is super fun for me. But I have to think about where's their head going to be, the type of people that would be perfect for that. It's different. We have to ask different questions every single time we're looking at creating something new. And like you said, sometimes we're up leveling. So who we're working with, like before, they might have been our 5-star, but we're like, man, I was tolerating some crap I sure did not like. See ya, bye-bye. So that's who it's perfect for. And that is the first question to ask is, okay, I got to kind of delete what I know about clients from the past. The only thing you want to bring forward is, when I liked working with somebody before, what were the qualities of that? Even if it was someone that wasn't your perfect client, what was perfect about them? And also looking at the stuff you hated, because that will determine, like, I don't like working with people who do not get law of attraction or they don't believe in it. I can use different language to get that same point across, but it's so much easier for me if they understand that what happens in your head is what generates the actions, decisions, and everything that you create. And it's also what manifests. Like, money happens in your mind first, not out there. Happens up here. If you believe it happens up here, you will take the right and perfect actions to attract money. So I realize I can work with anybody and I can give great coaching, but man, it's so much easier when they get the whole law of attraction thing. So we have to look at what's most pleasurable for us, what's exciting. And also, I think we happen to include, like, how do I want to say this? Money. When we talk about money, we don't often believe we can go for our most ideal, perfect client because we think not enough of them exist or they won't pay our prices. And I say, no way, 5-star clients, they will always find the money. Even if they say they're broke and their bank account shows that they're broke, they're so committed to getting the result that you have promised them that they are resourceful. They will find the money. And so we can't base off what we assumptions. I think it's hilarious because some people who make 7 figures don't have the money to pay for my services. So it's not about what's in the bank account. It's like, how bad do they want what you got? And we have to market, assuming everything we create, like from the offer to the price point to what's included, it all has to be geared to the 5-star client, because 5-star clients are going to say yes. They will find the money. They will be excited. They will find the time. They will find whatever they need to work with you. And then we're not trying in our head to believe that they're out there. We're gearing it. It's like we are creating a love letter for them. Everything we're creating is specifically for them. How could they not fall in love?
Yeah. So on the flip side, then, let me ask you this. When you know who that is and you're specifically speaking to them, inevitably you're going to have some people who are not them want you and want they like not want to take no for an answer because they believe they're them.
Yes.
So how do you recommend in this process that we can filter? Do you have any strategies or tactics that you can share about that, so that when you attract people who you're really not trying to speak to, but they want you to be speaking to them, do you have a graceful and tactful way to serve them at their highest and best and serve yourself at your highest and best without compromise?
Yeah, I love what you said, because even if they're not right, the key is to be in service of them. And so it's not like we're not a fit. I never say that. It's more like, oh, you know what? Based on everything you said, I know something even better for you, or your next step is this, and that next step that you give them does not involve you. You can obviously refer them to somebody else that they might be a fit for, but it's also just being general. So what I see for you is this, and these are the next steps that you should take. And you can tell them, it would not be in service of you for me to let you give me money, because I know I can't help you get what you want. Like, you put it all on you, and you serve them as if whatever that next step is, even though it's not you, is in their best and perfect good. And it is, because if you take them on and they're begging you and they're not right, you will so be mad at yourself. You will be mad at them, you'll resent them, and then you will want to kick your own butt going like, why did I do that? I knew they weren't right. In fact, I just told my team of coaches for my high-end program, I saw an application come through, and I knew right away, like, oh, that person cannot be in this program. It's so not going to work. And as I warned the team, like, just to let you know, that person might be right for something else, but not this program. Do not let them in. I don't care if they want to pay you double. There's no way. It's not right. I'll go cuckoo. They'll get frustrated. It won't be good for anybody.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. So what can we talk a little bit about the offer that you make? So you've got your 5-star clients on, hearing your level, or like you're singing a song like a siren that only they can hear. So your 5-star clients are super attracted to you. Is there something that you can share about how to make an offer for them, um, to work with them, whether it's selling a product or a service or what have you?
I think that that becomes very important. Since they're 5-star, they're already in love with you. Even if they don't know you yet, they're pre-wired to like be in love with you. We can relax. I think that's the most important thing. A 5-star client will always resonate with what you're saying. They get it. And we don't need to search for the right words. It doesn't have to be a slick, polished offer. If it did, I would never make any money, because I'm so not that. It's funny that you're asking about this, because just today I made an offer for a 10K program to all the students that were in this other program, and it by marketing standards, worst pitch ever. It was because it wasn't a pitch. It was like, I assume they've already had an experience with me, they know it, and I can be casual about it. And I even told them, This is not going to be right for many of you. That's okay. We might have something else that we can have to serve you. But I didn't feel a pressure to say it in a specific way. I didn't have to hard sell. I just get to be me. And when you're just being you and you can relax and you realize this is just a conversation with another person, like we're putting all this pressure on, like we have to win, we have to do it right. That takes us out of our power. Then we'll always say and do the right thing, even if it's in front of a very large group and you're speaking on stage to 1,000 people in your audience. You can't get it wrong if you're just following whatever you're guided to say in that moment. Now, definitely you want to have the right messaging down, and even the right messaging doesn't have to be perfect. It just means language they can understand of the problem that you're trying to solve, and the promise, like what are you promising here? And sometimes like the offer I just made today was different than I had ever said it, because of the group that was in front of me. We had just been working on how can you create 10K in 10 days, and so I just linked that to my program. I said, this is how you can make a lot of 10K, more than 10K a month. So if you want to make multiple 10Ks, which is not the promise of the program, but it's exactly what they'll get. So I say that I think it's really important that you feel confident making an offer, and it's great to be organized with how you say it. I mean, I do have scripts that I give my clients if they want to use them, just so they can kind of see like what I do. I don't follow a script though. It's kind of like you learn it. And then once you know, like, okay, there's a process. These are some of the things I'll want to touch on. Then you can throw the script out the window and realize now it's just about focusing out on whoever's in front of me. It's not about selling. It's about even educating them in the offer what their next step is, and not being attached at all. Because if they don't buy now and it was a right fit, they'll be back. In fact, I just had someone Skype me the other day and she said, can we talk? I know I talked to you a year ago. I should have said yes then. And now clearly I'm ready. And it was literally a 10-minute conversation. She invested $25,000 and I didn't make her wrong for it. I didn't feel bad that she didn't buy before. It's a conversation. I know if I give them some education, I'm helping them get clarity. Is this the right fit? Yes or no right now? Cool. If not now, maybe in the future. I think that we just put so much pressure on saying the right thing or making sure we get the words right. And it's not the words that have somebody say yes. Really, it's the energy behind whatever you're saying. So if you're coming from desperation or feeling uptight, like you're wondering, oh my gosh, I'm not sure they like me. Is this the right thing for them? Are they going to see its value? And you're questioning yourself. Energetically, you're pushing them away. It's like you're literally repelling them, and they don't know why they're saying no. But because you don't trust yourself, they don't trust you. They're like, nah, I don't see the urgency in this. Okay, thank you. That was nice. And it was great. And that's when you hear all those people say, well, I can't afford it. It's not that people can't afford it. It just didn't feel like a hell yes. And it can't feel like a hell yes if you have psychobabble going on in your head while you're talking to them about what you offer.
So if you got psychobabble going on in your head, before you get on the call or when you're on the call or whatever the case may be, is there anything you can share? Actually, two scenarios, please. So if you can share how to overcome that prior to getting on the call. So maybe you've had a bad day, maybe like everything's gone wrong. If you can give us some ideas about how we can overcome that before we get on the call. And then also, if you're on a call and all of a sudden you start having imposter syndrome or whatever psychobabble is going on, what can you do to shift that?
Yeah, I have great example. So before a call, if I ever notice, I don't usually have this when I'm having one-on-one conversation, but I definitely get into wanting to do it right. If I'm doing a free webinar where I know I'm going to make an offer and there's hundreds of people and there's a big opportunity to make money, I can definitely get in that whole energy of like, oh my gosh, I hope this is good, or whatever I'm saying to myself. So it always comes back to, who do I want to be on the call or on this presentation, whatever you're doing? Like, who is that I want to be? And what is the greatest gift I can give these people? So for me, it's usually the gift of lightening things up. whether it's being playful or making them laugh or telling them, no problem, you can do this. Like my biggest, greatest gift that I ever give is I have 100% belief that whoever's in front of me can achieve whatever they want. So it's me infusing that into the conversation, which has nothing to do with selling or making the offer. So it's of how can I be of value to them? And then what do I want to experience for myself? This isn't just about that other person showing up, and it's not about getting them to buy. It's like, how do I want to feel? Well, for me, like even coming on an interview like this, right? This is an opportunity for people to get turned on by me. Maybe they like me, maybe they become a client later. I don't know. But if I'm worried about that coming on, I have to decide, how do I want to feel during the interview? Even if I don't know who's interviewing me, I will usually say, you know, what I want most, my biggest intention is to actually have a good time. You definitely don't want to get on an interview and then be thinking, God, when is this going to end? Right? Or this is boring. Or like, okay. So I teach my clients to do that before they get on a call or when they're going to make an offer, is looking at who do they want to be? What's the intention here? Like if in a best case scenario, what would this person say yes to? And don't be going into it like, I hope they buy the $1,000 thing if what you want to really sell is the 25K thing. Like, great. If they're a right fit, then I absolutely want them to be in the 25K thing. So we're looking at our own intentions. How do we want to feel? Who do we want to be? What's our greatest gift that we can come on? And if you're doubting what you're offering, like you're having a little amnesia moment about what a rock star you are, then sit your butt down, even if you've done it before, and write at least minimum like 10 reasons why your offer rocks. Why, what's your special sauce is so great, even though maybe your niche has tons of other people who do the same thing as you. Why are you the perfect person to deliver on this? Because we do have amnesia and we forget. Like when I shot videos last week and I'm doing these YouTube videos and I'm thinking, was that even valuable? I mean, I've said this stuff so many times over the last 20 years. It just sounds like nothing, no value in what I just said. And the video person, the producer was like, Gina, oh my God. She's like, I've taken your high-end program. I still can't hear this enough. And I'm like, okay, good. Because man, it just sounded boring to me. We forget. We're a genius at it. And we forget that just because it comes natural to us and doesn't seem like a big deal doesn't mean like for our client, the skies are going to part open and they're going to think, thank you, Lord, for sending this person to me. This was amazing.
So good.
Oh, and then you asked me the other question. What do you do like when you're in the middle of it? Is that what the question? Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can course correct at any time. And sometimes I even take a deep, big breath because when I get excited, I stop breathing. And the other day I had this conversation. This is not what you said, but potentially even worse to me. I had a client who wanted to get out of a program. It was her second time in the program. And I knew a lot of it could be in her game, but she might have a legit reason. It has nothing to do with me. And so I was my goal was to get on the phone with her and figure out like what it was. I knew it was probably in her game one way or the other. Like, well, what is really the issue? But I just went with what was natural. And it was a little overwhelming, which was like, girl, because I know her very well. You can't not be in the program. This is why. And I just went into it. I'm like, man, she's not as outgoing as me. I thought I might have just completely scared her. And she might make up that it's about me being a pushy broad just to keep her in this program when it wasn't. I really wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to fail if she stepped out of the program. And I wasn't attached to it. And I'm okay if she can go get support otherwise. I just wanted to make sure that she was getting the right support. And I thought about it later and it felt weird in the moment. I'm like, I'm getting really excited here and I might be scaring her. And so I actually copped to it. I said, I'm just really protective and I want to make sure. So I'm going to go find out. And let me go do some research for you and I will get back to you. So I just copped to it and said what was true for me, which is I totally love you. And I just want to make sure that I'm not failing you as your current mentor. But I knew I was like, if I feel funny about it, she might too. I might just be making this up that she's feeling funny. She might get it, but I'm just going to say what's true so we can lay it all out on the table. So I think and I've also taken a deep breath and just sat back and said, you know what, let me think for a moment where I want to go next with this. Or just breathing silently. You don't have to say anything going like, oh, I noticed that I'm really in my head and I'm no longer listening to this person. I'm making it about me. And if they're going to buy my thing, So I learned something long ago that's very helpful at a seminar, and it was all about, when in doubt, like when you're doubting yourself, focus out. And it always reminds me like, oh, I'm in my own head right now. I'm making it about me. Oh, let me get back out there with the potential client or the audience of potential people.
That's so good. I've gone through this a couple times recently where I have a call with somebody who I believe in so much. Like they fill out my form and then I go check them out and I'm doing publicity, right? So in that way it's all about the client, of course, but it's a partnership where I have to actually represent them and promote them. And sometimes I get so freaking excited about what they're doing in the world. And this happened the other day as well, last week. And this woman was absolutely not even close to being in a place to hear it. And she was not my ideal client. It's like I could see that if she were a little farther along, she could be. And I so wanted to help her get there. And after the call, so I had, at the end of the call, I knew I had already kind of freaked her out. And I was like, oh, why don't we, come back we don't have to make a decision today. Why don't we come back to this? So we set up a time to talk this week. I think it was on Monday or Tuesday. And after the call, after I got off the call with her, I was like, oh my goodness, that was so not okay. And I thought I should probably cancel the call. And I thought, no, you know what? We'll see what she thinks about over the weekend. We'll see like how she shows up. And so I think it was a really good, quick call when we followed up, because it really gave her that space to look at where is she at and what's she ready for. And she's not as far along, I think, as she thought she was. And I also owned and apologized. I said, I am sorry that I was projecting my vision for you onto you, which is totally not the right thing for me to be doing. And so I'm excited to watch you, and in any way that I can support you in getting the help you need, I'd love to. But I'll still watch you and cheer you on from the sidelines because it's not the right time to work together. But I see you going there. So I so appreciate you sharing that story, because I had that experience and I was like, I came out of it and I was like, okay, well, that was fine, but how can I avoid this happening in the future? So,
Well, they taught back in, I went to Coaches Trading Institute, and they always said, if you're working really hard at coaching, then you're not being present and you're not doing good coaching. And I always have to remember, if I'm really seeing the vision, because that is exactly what I used to do, not just with one client. I used to do that with every client. I saw the vision for them, even after they were a client. I'm like, oh, we are going over there. You're going to get it. And they're over there kicking and screaming in resistance. I'm totally not meeting them where they're at. And I'm like, oh, wow, people got their goals when they used to work with me in the early days, but man, I made it rough on them. I just was like way more passionate and committed to them in that moment than they were committed to themselves. And yeah, I was a pushy broad.
I think it's an empathetic challenge, because I know we're not alone here, and probably a lot of my listeners are recognizing themselves in this as well. And I've been actively conscientious about this, and I think, oh, I really want to share this resource. Oh, I really want to help them in this. Oh, I'm hearing this that they want,
Right.
and I can totally give it to them. And I have to like hold back. And it's
Yes.
I was even thinking about this earlier today, how much I've held back. So I'm like, oh, I can totally connect this person with this person. I can totally do this. And it's like, but that's not my role. So
Yes.
how do you find balancing that when you meet with a potential 5-star client, and even though it's not the right timing, maybe next year, maybe never, maybe tomorrow, whatever it is, but do you find that you want to be of service, or I imagine you work with a lot of people who want just to be of service, even if they're not going to work together. Do you have any suggestions for how to balance that?
Yeah. And I am that person that you just described, just like that. Yeah. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Now I'm on the call for 45 minutes and I've just like working myself to death to support this person. um, One is I talk about, here's what I see as the next steps. And when we work together, I can totally help you do that. But right now, probably your next best step is this. And if I refer people to books all the time, or a free something, whether it's yours or even somebody else's, or just to me, identifying the next step for so many people is enough. When we overload them with all these things, they don't retain half of it anyway. And just that next step of clarity, even if it's not working with you, like, hey, this is what you need to go get squared away. These are your next steps. They're good with that. They're appreciative. We don't have to give all that we've got. It doesn't make sense. And I think that it's also, to me, if you say, and when if we work together, then we can definitely work on that. That gives them like, okay, I know what I can count on them for. And it's basically getting them excited when they are ready to take the next step with you.
So good. So is there anything I haven't asked you about attracting 5-star clients that you think is important to share with the audience?
Yeah. Most people ask, well, where do I go find them? Right? Like, where do I find them? I'm like, I don't know. Only you know. But the truth is you don't have to know. As we get more clear on who that person is and we're getting really excited, at that point, when you are in motion, even if you believe that they're out there, but you don't know how to find them, I call it your inner business expert, right? It's our inner guidance, a deeper knowing. It's more than intuition. It's like, I feel the nudge to go do this, and you follow that nudge and you start trusting that. You'll end up talking to people or having conversations or having an idea of something to do, and the clients will end up coming to you. That is just the way it works. It's freaking weird. It's interesting to me, for as much marketing and know-how that I know of, still people come in those interesting ways where they did not find me from any of the marketing that was so well planned and so much energy put into. Because when you're enjoying that, that's another important thing, is the marketing itself. It's only doing the types of marketing that feel natural, you're inspired to do, it feels good. I don't talk on live stages. Once in a while, someone can twist my arm, but I secretly pray, like, yeah, I do summits. Summits are good.
Well, when I came to you, first off, you're like, I don't do summits.
Well, that was a whole different reason.
Okay.
That was a whole different reason. But being on stage is because I don't feel comfortable. If I don't have to sell on stage, that's cool. I feel pressure, especially if that other person is getting a commission or something. Now I'm like, oh, now I have to. And now I feel like pressure, when before I just wanted to give value. If they end up buying my thing, cool. So I know I just put myself in situations where I don't feel a pressure for anybody to take the next step with me, and I can give 100% and I just stay relaxed. But the more types of marketing you do that actually puts you on your edge in a good way, like, wow, I'm stepping out, look at me, or like, oh, this feels fun, this feels innovative. Like last year I did a free 5-day online challenge, right, in Facebook, where you give people a simple step to do each day. Oh my gosh, like, that's definitely more work than like creating a lead magnet or something, but I was on a high. I was in my Facebook group every day, commenting with people. I'm like, oh my God, this is the most fun I've ever had in my whole life, in my whole business. This is so much fun. And of course, I did very well. That ended up being a multiple figure payday on that really fun, what was fun for me, marketing, because I like to engage. But a lot of people don't like to engage. And I say, good, you don't have to. Don't want to be on a video with your face on? Don't. You can find really creative ways to get your point across and tap your 5-star clients on the shoulder, as long as you keep doing things that are fun for you and you keep asking your inner business expert who lives inside of you, cool, what's a fun way to find my 5-star clients for this particular offer? What's my next step? What's the easiest way to connect with my 5-star clients? And just the biggest part, like, we all hear answers in our head, but most of the time we're just discounting them, right? It's like, follow the nudges. Follow the thing that sounds like such common sense and way too easy. Those are usually the things that work. The complicated stuff only works if you're excited while you're implementing the complicated stuff. When you're feeling like it's work and it's complicated and there's no reward in it, you're probably not going to get a great result.
I love it. Gina, thank you so much for being here. I want to make sure that before we go, my listeners who are your 5-star clients can find you, can connect with you, and can get more from you, continue the conversation. Where do they go?
Yeah. So based on the stuff that we've been saying today, I've got this free client seduction blueprint, which is all about attracting your 5-star clients. And no, you don't have to seduce them. Seducing happens because you're being you, kind of what we talked about before. And it's a free PDF. It breaks down the 5 steps. And I think that you guys will really like it, and it will inspire you and give you the inspiration that you need to really trust that your 5-star clients are out there. And the more you are, the more they're attracted, and the more things that you'll do that you say will right that will actually call them forth. Because there's nothing more stressful than thinking I have to go out there and get clients, or I have to go get a contract, or oh my gosh, that is so stressful. It's like, great, well, how can we have them come to us and have it be easy and have them show up where they're already interested, and they're like, cool, tell me what this is about. This sounds exciting, I want to do it.
Awesome.
So, and are we telling them a link right now, or are you posting that somewhere?
I can put it in the show notes. So if you go
Okay,
over
great.
to the NicoleHollandshow.com, find Gina Gabellini, Jeanna. Just search for her. You'll find a lot of her probably on the site. But the show notes page for this episode of the Nicole Holland Show, Gina Gabellini, and we'll have all the show notes and resources, and we'll have a link to that blueprint.
Awesome. Well, thank you. This has been fun.
Yes, always. I always love talking with you. Thank you for being here and for sharing more of your wisdom with my audience. I already know how amazing you are, and I know a lot of them do too. But for the new folks just meeting you, can't give this lady a high enough recommendation. She is just she walks her talk. So thank you so much, Gina.
My pleasure.